Hello and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday. I'm Jurnee Taylor. Let's take a look at our headlines at this noon hour. The LEARNS Act is in effect and soon students will have a new requirement in order to receive their diplomas on graduation. We'll have more on that in 3 minutes. Last week's special session left many with questions about the state's new tax cuts. We have more on this and how it will impact Arkansans. And experts predict a pause in interest rate hikes, but how long is this expected to last? The latest from Washington just ahead. But first, we have a look at weather. Meteorologist Nathan Scott is here. And Nathan, are we still seeing rain? I can see right behind you. We are still seeing rain across the state.
Good afternoon, Jurnee. The fact that I'm even tracking rain is, something we haven't done for quite some time here in Central Arkansas, but there is a narrow band of light rain, and this is very light rain moving into Central Arkansas at this time. It was much more impressive earlier this morning, had some heavy rain, some thunder and lightning, but it's running to that dry air, so it's starting to fall apart as it makes its way right along Interstate 30 through Arkadelphia, Hope, and also making its way into Pulaski County, Faulkner County, up through Van Buren County. It won't last very long at all. It's pretty much enough to create some spots on the vehicle or just create some dampness on the ground. Skies are already starting to clear off to the west, but where the clouds have moved in, temperatures are into the 60s, 78 in Little Rock. Meanwhile, it's 89 in Pine Bluff because you've seen plenty of sun this morning. And temperatures this afternoon will top out pretty much into the low, maybe mid 80s if we see some sun, but that could be a challenge. Along with that, we'll have some spotty showers make their way off to the east, but that chance is fairly low. More shower and storm chances are in my 7-day forecast. If you don't get rain today, don't worry, you've got other opportunities. More on that potential coming up.
All right, thank you, Nathan. And a THV 11 update, a new charge has been brought on an Arkansas man related to his involvement in the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol. Last month, we reported the arrest of 34-year-old Nathan Hughes from Bentonville. Hughes is now facing a 5th count accused of assaulting a federal officer. The FBI and the DOJ say he joined the mob and helped forcefully remove police riot shields. His original charges included civil disorder and 3 misdemeanors. He has not entered a plea in this case. And of a developing story, a Searcy woman is missing and police are asking the public for help. 45-year-old Jurnee Davison was last seen Monday afternoon around 12:30 driving a gray 1998 Nissan Frontier pickup truck on Hefner Street. The truck has an Arkansas license plate with 594 SOK and a missing mirror on the passenger side. Anyone with information on her whereabouts should call Searcy Police. And as the temperatures cool down, some parts of the country are still experiencing extreme droughts and wildfires. Governor Sanders authorized the deployment of 6 wildland firefighters to help in Louisiana with wildfire suppressant efforts. The crew deployed to Tiger Island Fire today, where they will remain for 2 weeks, checking and maintaining existing fires. Trucks and ATVs with water tanks will also be sent to help with the wildfire response efforts. In Arkansas, the LEARNS Act is introducing new initiatives like increased pay for teachers and higher literacy standards. Soon, high school students will be required to complete community service hours to receive their diploma. While this initiative is included in the LEARNS Act, it isn't new for schools. However, it is now a requirement for students to complete 75 hours in order to graduate.
We know that when students are connected to initiatives in the community, they do better. They feel a sense of belonging, they feel a sense of relevancy, and then it helps connect them to the world around them. And when students are excited about the world around them, they get excited to learn and going to do better in school.
School districts like Newport aren't unfamiliar with community service requirements. Students completed roughly 1,800 hours last year and aim for 2,000 this year. And a recent report from the White House included Arkansas, along with 15 other states that are underfunded historically Black land-grant universities. In a letter from the Biden administration, it says Arkansas is not properly funded in the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, which is the state's only land-grant HBCU. The university chancellor, Dr. Lawrence Alexander, says underfunding is nothing new, but they always find a way to provide for students.
We've been looking under every rock to find additional funding for our university, for our students.
Governor Sanders approved an additional $2 million each year on top of the land grant funding. The Department of Education and Governor's office say they will continue supporting UAPB and their commitment to higher education. In national news, the Federal Reserve is expected to announce a key decision on interest rates following the conclusion of its two-day policy meeting this afternoon. Skylar Henry reports from Washington.
U.S. stocks opened higher, anticipating what could be some welcome news from the Federal Reserve. Following a string of interest rate hikes since July of last year, the central bank is expected to press pause, keeping its benchmark interest rate at around 5.3%.
It doesn't mean that they're done raising rates.
Greg McBride is a chief financial analyst at Bankrate.com.
The likelihood is that they may choose to raise rates in November or December. There's probably a 50-50 chance of that happening.
Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has already indicated the Fed may raise rates further to bring inflation down to its 2% goal.
Although inflation has moved down from its peak, a welcome development, it remains too high. We are prepared to raise rates further if appropriate and intend to hold policy at a restrictive level until we are confident that inflation is moving sustainably down toward our objective.
Financial experts say the Fed will be keeping an eye on the labor market and other indicators to determine future steps.
Unemployment's still below 4%. There's a real strain on the budget of households. Millions of households are living paycheck to paycheck.
After today's decision, the Fed doesn't meet again until November. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Kraft Heinz recalls more than 80,000 cases of its individually wrapped American cheese slices. One of the company's wrapping machines malfunctioned, allowing small pieces of film to remain on cheese slices after removing the wrapper, causing a choking hazard. The recall applies to 16-ounce and 3-pound multi-packs of Kraft singles products with use-by dates in January 2024. These products can be returned to the store for an exchange or refund. There have been many questions after last week's special session hosted by Arkansas lawmakers. Many question how the new state laws will affect them, mainly with a third tax cut in 14 months. THV 11's Ian Russell has more on this.
More tax cuts for Arkansans. State lawmakers approved an initial round of cuts earlier this year. Then Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders called this month's special session to cut even more. With her signature officially enacting that recent round, there's some pieces you'll want to understand.
We get several calls on that still, so I'm looking forward to the calls about this credit.
We went to those who work with your taxes all the time, Latasha McKinney and the folks at Liberty Tax. She says the first thing you'll want to know and understand is your income tax bracket, because your rate has changed.
Cut the top individual income tax from 4.7 to 4.4%. Then the corporate income tax rate from 5.1 to 4.8.
That 4.4% is for those making anywhere from $24,300 to $87,000. If you make below that, your rate progressively lowers down to zero. Another aspect of this law is the income tax credits, $150 for individuals and up to $300 for those who file jointly. But don't expect to see that money in your pocket. The way McKinney reads the law, that credit should only go to taxes you owe the state.
All these $150 payments are not going to go out. It's going to go into play on paper in your return, but you're truly not going to see $150.
The $150 credits start for those making anywhere from $89,600 a year all the way down to just $1. If you make more than that, the tax credit gradually decreases. But what about people who don't owe any state income tax? We asked the governor's office for a definitive answer and are still waiting to hear back. But the text of Act 6 states that taxpayers can't claim more than what they owe. Basically, if you owe nothing, you get nothing. Keep in mind, McKinney says there's other factors that could also impact that credit.
When I've had a taxpayer come and walk now, it's like, okay, am I going to get the credit? I can't say. I don't know what your income was for the year. I don't know what your state situation is on the state side.
Thanks to an emergency clause in the bill, this is immediately law. Back to you.
Well, the tax credit is retroactive to January 1st, 2023, and those new tax rates go into effect starting next January. Falling is a major health danger for older Americans, but there are ways to reduce the risk. Coming up, the steps you need to take before an accident happens. Nathan?
And our View 11 shows a canopy of clouds over us. Those clouds are trying to produce a little bit of rain. I'll have a live look at radar and talk about more rain chances down the road next.